we're going to jump right in and do, go through all the material, get through as much as we can in an hour. And then anyone who would like to stay on a little longer than an hour, if you want to just chat, tell us, a little more about yourself, what tours you're doing, what tours you're interested in doing, what other skills you might have that you might want us to know about, things like that. So that'll be after 8 o'clock. But we want to just sort of get into the nuts and bolts of everything first, to be mindful of everyone's time. So I am Marianne Ruan. I'm the APT president. It's a pleasure to meet all of you. I'm so excited. We have so many new members and so many people interested in, finding out what we're about and what we're doing. Most of the people on here are new members or already signed up as new members. And I think there are a couple of you who are not currently members. So hopefully after hearing more about what we do, you'll want to become a member. That's our hope anyway. We would love to have you. And certainly if any of you want to email me afterwards with more questions or things, you're welcome to do that. It's president@phillyguides.org. So it's easy. Put it in the chat, but I have so many of you on my screen now, I can't even see where chat is.
No, go to the bottom, hover at the bottom.
Oh, there it is, okay. I'll just put my address in there in case any of you want to email. All right. I'm just going to give just a little background of APT. We were started in 2008. It kind of started as a reaction to the city wanting to take over certifying guides. And the tour guides who were working at the time were kind of like, no, we're tour guides. We want to do the exam, do the training, and certify guides, right? We don't want the city doing that. We want the people who actually know how to do it, doing it. And it was a big to do. We have last June, we had a panel for our monthly meeting. It's on our YouTube, so you can watch and hear about what happened if you're interested in that. They had a court case and everything. But since 2008, we've been going. We're a volunteer association. All of the board members, including myself, we are all unpaid. Any of the committee chairs and people who work on the committees are volunteers. So we really get a lot done, considering that it's all volunteer. So, really appreciative to all of the people who, give of their time and talents so we can get so much done. So right now we are the only organization in the city that certifies tour guides. We do educational training, we have an exam, and we have little pins that we give out to people who pass our certification process. There it is. Alex has her pin there. You can see Alex. Yeah. Our next exam probably will be in June. We are definitely due mid-March and mid-September, but I've had a bunch of requests already to have another date. So we'll probably maybe we'll try 4 times a year, March, June, September, and December, but at least we'll try June and see how that goes. So if you're wanting to get certified, get the handbook and start studying. So I'm going to pass this over to Alex Marigi, is that how you say it?
Yeah, that's it.
Marigi. It was her idea to do this new member orientation. She's a fairly recent member. So I will turn this over to her and let her explain her brainchild here.
Yeah, so I stumbled upon APT on the Greater Philadelphia Cultural Alliance website where they have the job bank. And I thought, oh, this sounds really cool. I'd been a fundraiser for many years and I wanted to do something different. And here was APT. And then coincidentally, they had a training a month later. And it was just wonderful. It was so much that was offered. And I thought, gee, I really want to be a member. I went to the first meeting. Everyone was very friendly, very knowledgeable. And so I thought, it'd be really helpful to have an orientation so that other new members can know all the wonderful things about APT. And here we are. So without further ado, I did a little PowerPoint and I'll be switching back and forth. So welcome.
Alex, let's introduce the board members that are here first before you jump into that.
Sure, go ahead.
So let's see who I see here. How about Vince? Do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. My name is Vince McCafferty. I'm a board member at large. 2 years, just about 2 years ago this time, I joined, took the test, and pretty much jumped in both feet first, as you could tell, a year on the board already. And what I will say, just really quickly, because I'm sure we'll go over some stuff, is if you can attend the meetings in person, the monthly meetings, if you've been to all of them already, you may know they're really great. The presentations are very, very good. Great education that we get every month. And also being there in person opens up a lot of opportunities, meeting the other members and just conversations. You might find out somebody's looking for somebody somewhere, and being there in person, it really, if you're really interested in getting in and doing some tour guiding, even if it's volunteer, especially if it's volunteer, if you're starting out, it's really a good idea to attend the meetings. So, and I'm available. My contact is on the website. If anybody ever wants to talk to me or shoot me an email, I don't know if our phone numbers are on there. You can send me a text if it is too, though. Happy to talk to anybody at any time. Thanks.
Oh, thanks, Vince. And maybe Antoinette, you want to go next?
Hi, my name is Antoinette. I'm actually the treasurer for APT. I, like Vince, joined 2 years ago, took the exam and passed. And like Vince also, we kind of started out with some volunteer positions, kind of got our feet wet. And now I'm doing, some paid tours and also some volunteer work. And, I got all of my work through APT. It's a great place to network. And it's a great place to find a mentor who could, help you with some of the ins and outs of tour guiding. And so APT has been an invaluable resource. I love being able to go walk around the city and inevitably see somebody from APT either on a tour or just out in the city. And it really, makes Philadelphia feel like home when you actually see people you recognize on the street.
Cool. Thank you. How about Jim? Do you want to go?
Yeah, I joined APT, I think in 2012. I think I certified in 13, and it's been a great experience. I love being around people who love history and like to talk about it, and we all learn from each other. So anybody who's not a member, I suggest you join. It's a great way to learn.
Cool. And I should say, this meeting tonight, we have other board members who are not here. So if they pop in, I'll give them a chance to talk as well. We're going to focus on sort of what APT offers. And then on April 23rd, we're going to have another Zoom meeting that's going to be more focused on, like, I'm starting as a tour guide. So what do I do to get started? What are some tips and best practices and that kind of thing? So this session is going to be less about sort of getting started as a tour guide, as finding work kind of questions, but more about what does APT specifically offer, if that makes sense. And there's some overlap, but just because we didn't want to keep you here for 2 or 3 hours. So we'll save that for April 23rd. But now I'll turn it back over to Alex.
Okay, so let's see, here we go. New member orientation. Let me see if I can go to the next one. So website, our website is www.phillyguides.org. And we will visit that. Let me see. No, it's not going to work. So here it is. Here's our website. So become a member, about us, events, APT store, join APT, and contacts. So we have the gallery here, and then we have join APT members directory, events, and then upcoming meetings. This is where you'll see our monthly meeting. It's typically the second Wednesday of the month, and we have different speakers. This past month, we had someone who talked about Dolly Madison. This month coming up, we have Edward Duffy, who has a book, Philadelphia, A Railroad History. So you'll always see that. This is just a little description about APT. We're working on changing a few things because of the Homecoming 250 is coming up for the Marines and the Navy. And then we're also have something about the semi-quincentennial, which will be in 2025, 2026, sorry about that. And then we just have more information. So you can kind of come here to find a lot of different things. Let me see. Here, share here. So that's the website. These are the events. So this is a listing of APT related events, such as APT meetings, which I mentioned, book club, coffee breaks. There's a coffee break every month. That was the idea of Jim Murphy, I believe. And we meet at the visitor center just to kind of meet other tour guides and just talk about what's going on. There are field trips, and you'll see those on the events. One field trip we have coming up is the Battleship New Jersey. There was one at the there's one at the Mutter Museum coming up. There was one at Lazaretto, which was a quarantine site in, I believe, Delaware County. Any tours and any trainings. So those can all be found. There's got to be a better way to do this. Those are all found here on the events page. So that's where we are today. These are our recent new members who passed the test. This is what I mentioned before, the tour guide coffee break, and that's on, is it the second Tuesday of every month, Jim?
I think it's the third. I have to go back and look. I think it's the third Tuesday.
I think you're right.
Yeah, it's the third Tuesday.
Okay. And then, next event. So we try to keep this current. Things are always being added, so make sure to visit that. Any questions so far? No. Okay. So, all right, the handbook. You've heard us mention the handbook. This lists pertinent historical information about people, places, and things, and it serves as a study guide for APT certification. It's updated every few years. We are in the process of updating it now. Mike, who is the vice president, is overseeing that with a bunch of APT volunteers. So we're kind of going through and making sure that we are hitting everything that we should be hitting. And then this is what you used to study for the APT certification. It is available in the shop and you can purchase it. And I believe, Marianne, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think people who aren't APT members also buy it just because it's got such good information in it.
Yeah, anyone can buy it. It's not only for members, and it is what people use to study for the exam. Or if you're working as a tour guide, it's just a really good resource to have.
Okay, the APT store. This is where you can find a whole bunch. You can purchase, sign up for certification exam, the handbook, field trips, insurance, lectures, individual and corporate memberships, and tours and trainings. So I will show you that here. I'm really cruising now, APT store. And there's a cart with it. So this is where you can find everything if you want to get membership, field trip, tour, site, the handbook, membership, corporate. We have individual and corporate memberships, special events, and training, tours, and lectures. So, in the recent past, we had a training on the buses. So step on guiding, which was interesting. We had some APT members talk to us about their experiences out in the field. There was a panel discussion, and board members, feel free to jump in. But that's where you would find here. The insurance was here as well. And so that's at the APT store. APT member directories, I mentioned corporate and individual memberships. There is a directory where you can put your information and you can put your picture, you can put a logo, whatever it is you want to put. And that's that goes first through Marianne. And then she, I believe she approves it, and then it goes on. Where is that, Marianne?
So it's under About Us, APT member directory. I don't actually approve it. I just put up whatever you put in your profile. So if you make a lot of mistakes in your profile entry, they're going in your entry.
So here we have more than 106 APT members, but this is how many are here. I know, for example, that I haven't put anything up yet, but you can put those there, and I'll just go to the end. You can see American Vegan Center. So this is a combination of the individuals and the corporations.
Yeah, you don't automatically get put in the directory. You have to fill out the profile form in order to be entered in the directory, which is on the cheat sheet that we'll give you at the end, the link to the form.
Yeah. This is a members only section, which is a newer section, and it just has a whole bunch of links on here that you can use. It has YouTube, it has different libraries, it has different organizations on here, and this is only available to members. See if I won't be able to get in here. I had it open. So it's password protect. Oh, there it is. So this about our members. So member highlights. These are just some of the members who have paragraphs and pictures. APT meeting notes. These are from the different board meetings and the treasurer's notes. Specialty tours. Avenue of the Founders, Avenue of Freedom. And pictures. Archived APT newsletters. Marianne diligently puts together a newsletter every week. So they're here. We have to add the February and March ones, and we'll talk more about that a little bit later. Books by APT members, a number of our members. And I'm going to go because Wendy's here. I know we have her book. There's Jim's book. And these are Wendy's books, who's on, both of whom are on the call with us. So if you write a book and you're a member, we'll put it up. Helpful articles for tour guides. This is by Jim, Beware the Low Bridge. Jim, do you want to tell us a little bit about the Low Bridge?
Sure. I was on a bus tour and it was quicker than I expected. So I wanted to go back for these people, and I told the driver to go over Spring Garden Street, and that was a bad idea because at 9th Street, it's a low bridge, and he didn't know what the height was. And so we turned right, couldn't get that way, had to back all the way across about 4 or 5 lanes of traffic, and I won't do that again.
Thank you. So these are just some helpful articles for tour guides. And this is a work in progress. So it's always, things are always being added. Just a background of the APT logo and the history of the APT board members. Online resources. So all things Philly, blogs, books, databases and indices, digital libraries, food in Philly, Hispanic influence on the American Revolution, history and preservation, local sites, free access, magazines, newsletters, podcasts, blah, blah, blah. YouTube channels.
There is a lot of stuff on that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Alex,
yeah.
can you just go back to that for 1 second?
Sure.
Yeah, the online resources, and scroll down to the APT videos. Yeah, videos, APT unlisted. So these videos are, well, they were, these are videos that a lot of them are unlisted. So when we do trainings and people pay for them and we record them, after 6 months, we put them up on our members' resources. So these are really good resources. Some of them are things that are accessible all of the time on our general YouTube channel, but a lot of them are unlisted because they were from our training programs that people paid for. So after 6 months, we open them up, and so it's a lot of really good resources, you know, that you can go back and look at. You can go out, Alex.
Yeah. Okay. I have the thing here. Sorry. Here we go. Okay. PDF resources. Business of guiding vegan food and then historical information and tips for designing a tour. So that is the members only section. And then social media. So Facebook group, Instagram, Blue Sky, and this one.
Threads.
What is it?
That's Threads.
Threads, right. So we have all of these.
And we also have a YouTube channel.
Oh, YouTube, okay.
I forgot that.
The monthly meeting, second Wednesday of the month at 7 p.m. in person at Philly's Gourmet Steaks or on Zoom. So Philly's Gourmet Steaks is between Front and Second on Market. And we have an upstairs room, which we use just for the meetings. And then you can buy food downstairs and drink. And then that's where we have our meetings from 7 till about 8:30. We also have them on Zoom. We have a great AV team. Jen Hensel is on the board and she kind of oversees that with Todd. You can, if you can't make one of the meetings or the weather's inclement or something, you can always do a Zoom. Newsletter. So this I mentioned briefly, this is what Marianne puts together. There's a Tour Talk newsletter. It's emailed weekly, usually Tuesday mornings. Information about APT organized events and other events of interest. And then there's a About Town emailed bi-monthly, usually Friday mornings, and contains information on events around town. Marianne, you want to add anything?
Yeah, can you show one, maybe the October 21st newsletter on the website?
Yes. And where is that?
So it's in the members only.
Okay.
Yeah, archived APT newsletters.
Oh, right. Okay. Archive, here we go. So I think we only have, should I do the January 20th?
No, scroll down to October,
Okay.
because we can't give you guys who are not members our new password.
Okay. So
But
week of
do the
October.
21st.
Okay.
So just scroll through slowly and people can see. So you'll see here, we have upcoming, usually there's a couple things in the beginning and then upcoming APT events. The green, now it's blue, but the green is always a link. So you can click on to get, this is just a blurb about it, but you can click and get more information about, the full description of whatever it is. Go ahead, you can go back.
Yeah. I won't go back. Let me see. This is in the way. I can't do it. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Yeah, so those are all APT things. And then after that is from our corporate members. So the title, you can just stop there. The title that's in bold, that's the corporate member. So this is to give our corporate members some extra publicity. Carpenter's Hall, Friends of the Rail Park, Gloria Day. They're all corporate members so that, people know about them, patronize them, use their services, go to their events. Sometimes we have photos. You can keep scrolling. Philly Magic Tours, Robert Melissa. We have corporate members who are bigger companies. We have corporate members who are nonprofit organizations. A lot of them are historical sites around town, like Elfrid's Alley or Christ Church. And then We have one-person tour companies. So Robert Melissa, he does the Philly Magic tours. He's a one-person tour company. It can be one up to 4 people. So Bowtie Tours, I think, has 3 guides. They're a small corporate member. So any of you, if you're, I don't know what, if I don't know you yet, if I haven't talked to you yet, if you're a new member that has a tour company that you're kind of doing tours independently and booking them independently, you can register as a one-person tour company and get a little more promotion for your company. Recap, we always do a recap of the monthly meeting. So if you were to click on Carol Adrian's picture there, it would go to the video that's on YouTube of her talk. We ask all of the speakers to let us keep their talk up for 1 month for people that can't make the meeting or can't do the Zoom. And then some of them let us keep it up indefinitely. So if they say no, just 1 month, then we take it down. And then the ones that are on the YouTube channel are, have been allowed to be left up.
And this is where we meet at the Gourmet Steaks. you
Yeah,
see.
that's Philly Gourmet Steaks. Yep. It's very luxurious.
Mhm.
Around town. So I do the newsletter twice a month that's around town, but sometimes I'll get news about, like, George Boudreau emailed me that they were having this event and it wasn't in time to go in one of those newsletters. So sometimes I'll just stick them in here. We have in memoriam. We had, unfortunately, a member died last year. It was very sad. So we had a lot about him and his memorial service. There's info for tour guides. These are usually links, different newspaper articles, magazine articles, blog links, just things that are relevant to Philly that you as a tour guide might want to know that you might be able to share with guests on tour. APT members in the news, right? There's Robert Melissa again, and Jim Logue, his house was profiled. He had a neat story that he got this historic plaque put up again near his house. So there was an article in the Inquirer about that. Photos around town. If you guys are out and about and you see something kind of interesting, I think these were both photos that members sent to me that they saw while they were out. So if there's something interesting, you can send them to me. Also, if you see guides working. So if you see a guide leading a tour, I know I saw Alex out on tour once. I've seen Vince out on tour, and I just go up and take a picture. Sort of guides in action photos. I'm up in Scranton, Pennsylvania right now because my father passed and I'm helping clean out his house and things. So usually I'm doing a lot of school tours now and I'm there seeing all the guides and taking all these pictures. But I'm not there now. So if you guys are out and about and see other guides working, please take photos so we can put them in the newsletter. It just helps build community and let people know the other guides, kind of get to know each other, see who's out there working. If we hear about trainings or events from other cities, we collaborate with DC and New York and sometimes Chicago. So if we hear of their events, we put them on. We had a lot last year about Chinatown, the arena developments. And then the almost last thing is job and volunteer opportunities. So if you're looking for a job, you're looking for an opportunity, I highly recommend, being a volunteer if you can afford it. Like when I was starting out, I couldn't volunteer. I had to make money because I had to survive. But if you can afford to volunteer, it really helps. As Antoinette was saying, you meet a lot of people, you make contacts, and you get hired then for paid work just through all these contacts. The ones that are in yellow are corporate members. So I just like to highlight them. And then these final things at the bottom, these kind of little blurbs with the logo, they're all ongoing initiatives. So they're down here if you ever need to look like, this is the old password, like I need to get in members only, I don't remember the password. It's always at the bottom of the newsletter. Philadelphia 250, if you want to do your profile for the directory and you can't find the email with the form, it's always at the bottom of the newsletter. And the very, very last thing in every newsletter is this newsletter submissions. If you have something you want to submit, there's a link there to a Google form that you can fill out. I'm making a point of this, that's the last thing in the newsletter, because it recently came to my attention that a lot of people didn't realize that some of their email programs truncate the newsletter. Mine doesn't, so I didn't know this was happening. My Yahoo shows me the entire newsletter on my desktop and on my phone. And I don't know if it's a setting in the email platform or if it's just the platform itself. I know Gmail truncates, but if your email program is truncating the newsletter, there should be a link near the bottom that says view entire newsletter. So if you don't see this newsletter submissions at the bottom, then you don't have the entire newsletter, and you can find that link and click on it so that you can see the entire thing, especially if you want the job and the volunteer opportunities. You might not be seeing them if you're not seeing the entire newsletter. Any questions on any of that?
Hi. Oh, I'm just looking at the comments. Thank you.
Oh, I have a question. Sorry. Just could you repeat again? You said in Philadelphia 250 they have a directory as well, or
So it isn't a directory.
but they have a form. Oh, I see. Okay, got it.
Yeah, it's a Google form that you can fill out about the tours that you do and
Okay.
your interest in developing future tours.
Okay. Okay. I got confused there. Sorry. Thank you.
And I'll just explain briefly because it's a little convoluted now. When it was the head of Philly 250 stepped down as of January 1st.
Oh, yes.
And with the old Philly 250, like when she was there, we had really close collaboration, and she had this form, and she was, she helped develop it with me, and we got everyone to fill it out. But she stepped down. Now, Catherine Ott Lovell has been named the new head of Philly 250. She's also the head of the Philadelphia Visitor Center Corporation. Not like she doesn't have anything to do, right?
Wow.
So I'm in touch with her. She hasn't really gotten back to me on what collaboration with us might look like. My thought was that since Philly 250 had chosen these 11 commercial corridors, that maybe APT guides could develop tours in those 11 corridors, and they could help promote them, and we'd have this collaboration. But then when I talked to them, they said, oh, we might not be using those 11 commercial corridors. We might be changing them. So we're not really sure what's going to happen, but if there's an opportunity for us to work with them, I mean, we do work closely with the visitor center, and they email me at least once a week about different things. So if there's an opportunity, we'll be involved. I just haven't heard yet what that might look like. Look like now.
Are they like their own separate thing? Are they like a 501c3, or are they some sort of like committee that's off of like this, like City Hall or something like that, like a citizens committee or something like that?
I don't know what their status was if they're 501c3, but they had 3 paid staff.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they had paid staff. They weren't just a volunteer organization. Like Danielle Kim was paid to be the director.
Okay.
I don't know, Alex, can you speak any more to that? I know Alex is involved as a volunteer with them.
Yeah, I think they're going through some transitions now just because there is new leadership. I think they probably still have the same 3 paid staff. I know Monica is community outreach, and Jane does programs, and maybe, I'm not sure how to pronounce her name. Nika is operations, but and then there's Catherine Ott Lovell. There's also a women's committee, and they're trying to get 250 women to join the committee, and the membership fees will go to help with financial empowerment for women. And then they're also looking at kind of the Centennial Exposition back in 1876, and how there was a women's building there, and within the women's building were all the cool things that the women had built and everything like that. So they meet times a year. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Huh? Okay, let me see. Go back here. Here. And let's see what we got. Okay, APT committees. So as Marianne mentioned, these are volunteers who help with the different committees. There's the APT newsletter, Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Accessibility Committee, the Events Committee, Education Certification, join us, Handbook Committee, Outreach, Projects, and Website. So you have the opportunity to bring your skills or learn something new to help on one of the committees, and they are very active. I know the Handbook Committee is meeting pretty much every month, and we're putting the handbook together. Lots of different projects. I know Mike, who's the vice president, does the events, and it's a book club. That was a different topic, so it's not a committee, but I just thought about that. So Any questions about the committees? Okay. Let's see what's next. All right. Thank you. That wraps up the PowerPoint presentation, but we wanted to see if anybody had any questions about APT or the orientation or things, you know, that maybe we didn't address in this go round.
Oh, so there's a question. Mike has a question about the Navy 250. So Alex and I work on the website. So we have, I think, 5 people submitted information about tours they're going to do for Navy or Marine Corps in the fall. And so, yeah, we're going to start working on that. So hopefully by the end of next week, we'll have something up on the website where we can link to those. But there's nothing else for you to do, you know, except to work on your tour and, you know, do your own promotional things. But we're gonna work on getting that page up on the website. And what it will be is like a graphic about Homecoming 250 with a button for people to click to find out about the tours being offered. And then, you know, we'll list the 5 offerings we have and then whatever other ones we get. And then Homecoming 250 is also going to have a link on their page linking to our tours, to those tours that people are giving. That makes sense.
And Mike, I already started putting the information in. So I know I have to get it in by next week. So we'll have it there.
I think Wendy had a question. Oh, I thought you were putting your hand up.
Sorry, no, I did, but I turned on the light. Sorry.
No worries.
One quick thing, Marianne, about Homecoming 250. I know the Army is coming in June. We haven't had any connection to them, but the Navy and the Marines are coming in October and November. And that's what we're trying to really develop stories for and tours for.
Yes, and let me put a pitch in since Mike's not here. If you have an idea, or even if you don't have an idea yet, watch on our YouTube channel. We have the video. George Leone, he's the head of Homecoming 250 of the whole celebration here in Philadelphia for Navy and Marine Corps. He did a presentation for APT in May, was it last year? May of 2024?
I think so.
Anyway, it's on our YouTube channel. And it's so detailed and so all-inclusive. I mean, literally, all you have to do is watch that presentation. You will see every possible bit of information about Navy and Marine Corps history in this area. And then pick something and make a tour. I mean, it's a great way to make money. There is no way that these 5 tours we have so far, and maybe if we get 5 more or 10 more, are going to be able to service all of these 100,000 people that are supposed to be coming for these events. So if you have an idea, particularly something, you know, outside of Old City, or if you could get a bus or a trolley, I know they really want bus and trolley tours to go out, you know, to some of the further out sites. But I would start by watching George Leone's video and see what interests you, see what resonates with you that you would like to follow up on, and put a tour together. And you don't have to have your tour all ready to go to submit the information to us in the form. We just need basic info and your contact information so that we can get something up on the website, and then you can keep working on your route and the length and, you know, all of that on your own. But it's a great opportunity. I mean, I was all excited to do it, but I don't know, I'm not going to have time now with all I'm doing at home. So does that answer your question, Mike?
And Mike has another question. Has anyone ever attempted to organize a tour using Indigo bike share?
I know there are some bike tours. I don't know of anyone who was doing it using the Indigo bike share. We had a member, Ned Drinker, and he had bike tours that he did, but I don't know where he got his bikes from. Mike might have known. Mike knew him pretty well. He might have known, but I never talked to him about where he got the bikes from. Maybe he just did it locally with people that had their own bikes. I'm not sure. So no, I haven't heard of that. It doesn't mean it hasn't happened. But I have not heard of that.
You can get those bikes any place they have a public bike depot. They're all over.
Right.
Yeah, it's not hard.
Yeah, I imagine the people would just get their own bike and meet you somewhere.
Right.
I mean, that's what I would do if I were doing it. Keep it as simple as, simple as possible. Okay, let me see what else is here. All right, African-American tour guide, how to get that sort of educational tour. Yeah, so I see Stephen put the Black Journey. So the Black Journey, Black Philadelphia Walking Tour, is their corporate members of APT. So Raina and my Jewel and Alfonso are members, and I'm sure they would love to talk to you. You know, collaborate with you in some way. I'm not sure. I know they are collaborating with the Black Metropolis as well, that 1838 Black Metropolis project. That the 1838 Black Metropolis project gave the Black Journey, like their people gave them the information so that their people could do their walking tour, the Black Metropolis walking tour. So they're collaborating together. They're the only ones that I know of. Well, there's also Philly Experiences. They're more like experiences, I think, than like a historical walking tour. They're not members. I've reached out to them. I haven't had any response yet, but there's a definite space in the field for that, I would say. And if you want to develop a tour, go ahead and develop it. You know, talk to Black Journey. You know, I think it's definitely needed for sure. Okay,
I think for the handbook, I think that's the next question. Do you have an expected date for the new edition, or if you buy the online access, will that straddle both versions when they're updated?
Yeah, so the last Mike said was June, July for the updated version of the handbook. And yes, if you purchase the online handbook, you always have access to the most updated online handbook. That is not the case for at least at this present time, that's not the case for the printed handbook. So if you bought just a printed handbook, you would have to buy a new printed handbook if you want the actual hard copy. But online, you will always have access to the newest online version. And I should say that we've been talking about, you know, when we roll out this new edition, we may be changing, you know, kind of what the parameters are around the handbook, you know, whether it's that kind of thing with the online and the hard, like maybe you'll be hard copy and online together. I don't know, maybe the cost will be different, but we'll have to see. So it may change when we update the new one from what we have right now. But the purpose of having an online one is that it's forever and you would always have access to the most updated version that's online. Germantown would be great to have a tour there. I think when we talk to people about Germantown, they always say that the challenge is, you know, in walking, because the sites they get kind of far apart. I always thought we did have Rick Hyman is one of our members. He was a volunteer with the History Hunter program, I think it's called, in Germantown for school kids.
Yeah.
And he organized a bus tour for us, like a field trip for APT members a couple of years ago before COVID. And we did a bus to go to a bunch of different sites. It was excellent. But and I think Historic Germantown like donated the bus to us. And I'm not sure they were so happy about it because I don't think they got the numbers coming back to Germantown that they thought they would get from sponsoring this bus. But anyway, but then COVID hit and everything. So how do personal tour guides advertise for their tour? Do they pay for their own advertising? Yeah, if you're like a one-person tour company, then you're paying for your own advertising. You can, you know, if you're registered with APT as a one-person tour company, then you can publish in our, you know, in our newsletter under corporate members. We also have, maybe you can show, Alex, the corporate member, the featuring corporate members page on the website?
Fully. Yes, I think we can. All right, how do I get?
I think it's under About Us, supporters and benefits. And then yeah. So we also have this page, which we're redoing the homepage, so it will be more highlighted on the homepage. But this lists all of the corporate members who are in the directory. So we have another way for corporate members to be a little more promoted and highlighted than just in the big directory with 100 and some, people in there.
Yeah.
Jim's book is just running away. It doesn't want to stay in line with the other books, the other logos. I don't know. I've tried everything. I can't get it back in line.
I'll have to take a look at it.
Yeah, so we have that page. So there is a little bit of that. We try and do as much as we can for corporate members to make it, win-win. We really want you to get something out of being a corporate member.
I'm sorry.
you do.
I joined late. Are we allowed to ask questions?
Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Okay, sorry, I joined late, so huge disadvantage. Is this recorded or no?
It is recording, yes.
So I'm just saying, if I missed a good portion of the meeting, will I
Oh,
be
you're
able to
breaking
see
up
the
there.
recording?
But we are going to put the recording on our website well, I'll send it to all of you who are here today.
Okay,
And also it will be in the members only section of the website under the resources, so that any new member in the future will also be able to, go back and look. I mean, hopefully we'll
Okay.
do this every year, but we hope to do it in person in the future, and it may not be recorded in the future. So this way, at least we have this one recorded.
okay. And then, sorry, my question is just like a super high level question is, does the handbook and does this certification enable you to do just historical tours? What type of tours do you get certified in?
So the certificate, first of all, you can work as a guide in Philadelphia without being certified. I mean, I started guiding in, I think, 2012, and I wasn't certified until 2015 or 2016.
Okay.
You don't have to be certified to work as a guide. It's just added bragging points. You can put it on your resume. You have the pin, you have the card, it's just kind of a, an added little thing to have, credit on your resume. That being said, the test that you take to get certified is a history exam. So it is about the places and people relating to Old City and Center City, so that it kind of covers the basic things that any general guide, tour guide working in Philadelphia would know.
Is it an open book exam?
It is not open book.
So you have to go somewhere and take a test.
You go somewhere and take a test.
Okay.
Philly's Gourmet Steaks, where we do everything.
And the next time there's a test is the fall.
That's our next scheduled one. I think I'm probably going to have one in mid-June, because I've had a bunch of people ask who couldn't make the March date.
Okay.
But generally we would do mid-March, mid-September.
Okay. Sorry if I interrupted the
I
No
flow.
worries.
I'll add to that too. I did get certified pretty soon after, I think a month after I joined, and I did look at some other opportunities in the city to maybe shadow or the Independence National Historical Trust. And because I had the certification, I didn't have to shadow as much as someone who didn't have the certification. So, it's kind of opens the door for you there being certified. And
Like
then
shadowing is a totally different way of learning, though. It's like you get certified, but if you don't see how someone interacts with people live and like what kind of style you have, what's engaging. I mean, I think there's a lot to being a tour guide beyond just like, this is the Liberty Bell, you know?
oh, sure.
No, definitely. And
And
we
when I-
do, we don't have peer, so we didn't do it this year because I'm just sort of distracted with a lot going on with my family.
Yeah.
But generally, when we do the winter training, then after that, we would have like a peer review session. We'd have like a training and then a little time and then certification exam, and then a peer review where tour guides could, like the new guides, people who were just getting certified, or even you don't have to necessarily be getting certified, but you can come out and we would go to different sites and the guide would do their spiel at a site and then get feedback from more experienced guides. It's not required for certification. Maybe in the future we'll do that. We've talked about that in the past, but we haven't made it a requirement. But it is very helpful to do that and get feedback, from the other guides. And I would say too, it's really good to do because the veteran guides who are there giving you feedback, they're the guides who work all the time. So if they
Right.
can't do a tour and they need somebody and they know that you're good because they saw you give this site thing, or if they saw you give a site thing that wasn't great, they might be like, oh, maybe I won't go to her just yet or him just yet. But if you're good and you do this, it can really
Right.
help you. So it works both ways, but I think the more you get out there and do things, whether volunteering, whether the peer review sessions, even just coming to meetings and networking and talking to people,
Right.
you know, the
Okay.
more.
Do you have a couple suggestions for companies or organizations that are looking for tour guides? Like
Yeah, we're going to
museums?
do that at our next time. We're going to
Okay.
do a session on April 23rd on like, you
Okay.
want us to get started as a tour guide.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
cool.
this tonight is just more focused on APT in particular.
Okay.
And then Matt had a question too. Are corporate members required to pass the APT exam to join?
No, no one is required to pass the APT exam at all. I mean, we like to say we have a high percentage of our members that are certified because that's just prestigious for us as an organization, but it's not a prerequisite for joining, for working as a tour guide, for corporate or individual or anybody. I think it's kind of fun. I like taking tests. I mean, I was always good in school, so I like memorizing things and doing the tests and just sort of like quizzing myself. So I'm always like, just take, even there are people who are excellent guides who've been working for years who are not certified. I'm like, just come and take the test. You will just pass it. If you're working as a guide and you know your stuff, you will pass the exam. If you're like at the history, you know, if you're a food tour or you're, you know, something like that, then it would be harder. But, you know, Vance, he's at the American Vegan Center, so he gives veg history tours, specifically on vegetarian history in the United States, which started in Philadelphia. But it intersects with a lot of abolition, women's suffrage, things like that. You figure activists, people, right, who are not eating meat, they don't want to harm animals. They probably also don't want to harm people, want everyone to be treated equally, that kind of thing. So he knew a lot of the history, but he passed the exam. I mean, a lot of the stuff wasn't relevant to him, to his tours, and maybe he got those wrong, but he knew enough of the general history that he could still pass the exam.
I'm sorry, what tour was that? That sounded actually really interesting.
It's from the American Vegan Center. He does a veg history tour. It's about the history of vegetarianism and veganism.
And where are they located, Marianne?
They're right across from Christ Church on 2nd Street,
Oh, cool.
just a little bit north of Market Street.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, no, they're fascinating. Let's see, for members to pass the test, yeah, we don't do that. Just because it's too much. So then I don't know if you guys all saw the question. He's just asking about people who take the exam, would like to be able to see what they got wrong. We don't give the exams back, only because we only have one. I mean, we have like 2 or 3 versions of one exam, but like we change out some pictures and change the order of the questions, but basically it's like the same exam. And we just, until we get, really have some separate and equal exams, we just really can't do that now. I mean, we're just volunteers and we have a lot on our plates. I do think when we get our new handbook, when we have the updated version of the handbook, there is a plan to update the certification exam, like really look at it, really address what does it ask, what do we want it to ask, you know, is it doing what we want it to do and all of that. But that would be, you know, fall at the earliest. You know, August, September at the earliest. So when we do that, then maybe we would be able to do that. We just don't have it set up now to be able to do that. So I apologize. And I understand because I like taking tests and yeah, I really like seeing what I got wrong. I totally get it.
Are there
So
any
we had a few
tests?
requests for that. So we are keeping that, you know, we are open to that possibility. I just have to think about how it could be done without jeopardizing the integrity of the exam.
And Mike,
Somebody asking something?
Mike just joined us, the board member, Mike, the handbook.
Oh, there he is. Hi, Mike. Mike, do you want to just say a few words? Just introduce yourself and just so they could meet the board members.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to APT. Looks like I got here a little bit late, 57 minutes. My phone's not working. And other than that, I don't have a clock. So yeah, welcome to APT. Thanks for being part of us. I've met several of you. Look forward to seeing you all in the meetings coming up.
And this is the Mike who's in charge of the handbook, by the way.
Are some of you folks helping with the handbook?
And events. He does events.
Yes.
Yeah, and events.
And I should say also, if you have an idea for an event, like if like a field trip to a site that you're associated with or that you've just been to and really like, you think it would be great for APT members to go there, please let Mike know and, help set it up. Like, just do it, basically. Like, just talk to Mike and get it set up. Usually just call or email the place. They're usually happy to have us come because we're tour guides and
I have an
they
idea.
want people to know about them. Oh, wait, let me just finish. And then the second thing is that if you have an idea for a speaker, a monthly meeting speaker, also let Mike know that as well, because we do take members' ideas, into account. So he has most of this year already allocated, but you still, if you have an idea, share it. And we will try and do that. Were you saying something, Karen?
Oh, so I have lived in Rittenhouse for 20 years, and I just found out and went to for the first time yesterday the Keith Haring Garden on 22nd and Ellsworth. How is that not more known that you have an original? I mean, especially with graffiti originating here in Philadelphia with cornbread and whatnot, if you know about the graffiti movement. I mean, it's pretty great. Like, it's not very big, but it's cool. And it's like in the middle, kind of a cool neighborhood in like South Philly. There's like, I don't know. It's neat. And I didn't know about it. And more people should know about it. I mean, I live in Rittenhouse for 20 years. I mean, I guess maybe I could get more cultured. I feel like I'm reasonably cultured and I had no idea.
I don't know what it
Yeah.
is.
I'm sorry?
I don't know what it is.
Oh, the Keith Haring Garden. So Keith
Mhm.
Haring, an early modern artist from New York City. You'd probably recognize some of what he's iconic for, which certain like kind of humans dancing and love and just sort of a positive message. And the garden is called the Youth. I guess it was some kind of, I have to read up a little bit on it, but it basically says the youth of Philly and New York City. And it's cool. And my understanding is that it's an original and it was in 1987, which makes sense because I think he was still here by the late 80s. Anyway,
Interesting.
I think it's super interesting. And I think a lot of people, including the people from New York or other places that would come to visit, would be kind of into it because I feel like Philadelphia has a pretty good art brand, but there's so many things that could be branded better, as I'm sure all of you agree.
He was born in Reading, so he's actually pretty big over there.
So Reading, and that would maybe, and then also Andy Warhol is from Pittsburgh, so
Right.
other Pennsylvania,
Yep.
same era. It's just all interesting. Okay.
Well, and that's what's really cool too. When we have field trips and we have these things announced in our newsletter and they go up on our website and then members go on the tour and then we do like a recap and have photos of it and we share the photos with everybody. It's getting promotion for these things. Even if you can't go on that field trip or you can't be there that day, you can look at the photos and then you could be like, oh, I'm going to go check that out another time on my own. So that's what we like to do with these things. Even if maybe only 12 people out of our 180 or whatever go, it's still getting promoted in the newsletter and the website and people are knowing about it and it's just spreading the word about these sites.
Getting awareness about what things exist. Yeah.
Definitely. Marianne put a link in the chat to it. Yeah, Powelton Village has a museum for the Tiburino artists. Yeah, I mean, Philly is amazing. There are tons and tons of little hidden things that, I mean, even as tour guides, we don't know all of it, So that's what's so great when we do these trips and we get to do little field trips and explore and, so please share whatever, help Mike organize things, organize it and just get Mike to, give you a little guidance and because we're all volunteers anyway, we're all just kind of learning as we go too, so. So that brings us to the close of the sort of information that we wanted to give to you all. If any of you would like to stay on for a little bit longer, we'd love to just have you say a little bit about yourselves, what tours you're interested in, what if you are or aren't doing tours yet, or what your plans are, where you're from, I don't know, whatever, just for like 2 minutes, each. We don't want to get, if you each go 5 minutes, we'll be here another hour. And we know tour guides love to talk, so I'm sure you all love to talk, or you would not be in this Zoom tonight. So just some of this, and if you need to go off, just pop off. That's fine. We appreciate you all coming. Does anybody like to start and just say a little about themselves?
I would.
Go ahead, Wendy.
So I'm fairly new too, but I just wanted to give a little tiny bit of inspiration for the people who are thinking about joining or are brand new. So I actually moved to Philly with my husband at the end of August, and a huge history buff, love it, have long dreamed of doing something like this. So I think I joined APT in October, maybe the end of September, and I wrote the exam in December. Oh, I got to tell this real quick. So the reason that I didn't even know about it. So I went to the Powell House for a tour because I'd wanted to get there for years, and they only have a few hours, and so I finally got to go to a tour on the Powell House, and there was and I was the only one on the tour, and the tour guide was very lovely, and I said, like, how do I meet people in Philly? And she goes, oh, well, if you like history and you want to do some tour guiding, why don't you join the Association of Philadelphia Tour Guides? They're really fun. They're social. They meet like a couple times a month. And I was like, oh, social, fun, meeting people. No, awesome. So I hadn't known anything, and just on a whim, I joined. So then I wrote the exam, and today I did my very first tour. So it can happen as quickly or as slowly as you want it to. And I did have to laugh because I was guiding 30 17-year-old rugby players around Old City. And until you like stand in the position where 30 people are staring at you and 10 adults, and you're supposed to like know what's going on, it's just fun, but it's great.
What did you give a tour guide on?
Old City, the American Revolution.
Oh.
And they were great. Like for 17-year-olds, they hung in there, and I did the teenage version, and I kind of made it lively, and I told a couple of like gross, yellow fever stories, because what kid doesn't love that? And so mainly I I feel like I'm really new too, still 6 months, but I couldn't believe how fast I just felt at home. I really, really like going to the meetings each month. People are just very nice. I have a lot of fun. And the quality of the speakers at APT is really fabulous. I've really enjoyed it, and I've learned a lot. So if you're thinking of getting involved, highly recommend.
And I can say, I can't believe Wendy is a new member, because she's been to like every single trip and meeting since she joined, that I feel like she's already been with us for 2 years, because she comes to everything. That's great. Does anybody else like to go next?
I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Ann Saunders, and I was invited to join you this evening. Reverend Cavanagh, who is the new pastor at Mother Bethel, asked me to participate this evening. I'm from Mother Bethel AME Church, which is located at 6th Street, 1 block from South Street. We have a museum.
Member.
Pardon?
Our new corporate member. Welcome.
Yes. We have a museum that's located in the lower level of the church. And we also, we have about 23 docents that give tours at Mother Bethel. And so we have groups that come in really from all over the country to tour the church. And since I'm here and just listening and basically understanding what you do and what you're about, we would love to have you also visit Mother Bethel. And we can figure out a way to arrange that. But our history is also really fascinating. It's very, very interesting. Richard Allen was the founder of the African Methodist Episcopal Church that's now located in 22 districts worldwide. But it all began there at Mother Bethel.
Well, and we have a member, Bob Branch. I don't know if you know him at Mother Bethel, but he is the first person interpreter of Richard Allen. So he basically dresses like Richard Allen and knows all the history and just presents as Richard Allen, and he's fabulous.
Yes.
Yeah, so maybe we could do something, have him do a little presentation there too, and then do a
Yeah,
tour or
that would be
something.
nice. That would be very nice. So what I would like to do is just basically stay in touch with you, Mary Ann, and I'll report back to Reverend Cavanis where we are. And I'm sure she really wants to be a corporate member.
Yeah, no, you are. You guys already joined.
You are.
Oh, we
yeah.
are. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So very
Yes.
exciting. We're
That's
thrilled.
no. Okay.
Cool.
Great.
Now,
Do we
Mike, I
have-
think you had your hand up.
Mike Haney.
Oh,
Hi.
can you see? There he is.
Yeah, brand new member, just passed the certification test. I originally found out about APT through the Preservation Alliance. So I'm very interested in architectural history, but any kind of history really, I'd like to get more widely known. One sort of area that I'm interested in getting involved with, and I'm sure we'll talk about this in the April meeting, is school groups. That would be really fun. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you saw in the newsletter this week, March 27th, the NFTGA, which is the National Tourist Guide Associations, National Federation of Tourist Guide Associations. So there, there's a national one where all of these cities that have tour guide associations are in it. So we're a member, and they're doing a presentation about trends in the school tours and things. And that's on the 27th. What day is it? Thursday, I guess.
Thursday, yeah.
7th.
Yeah, I signed up for that. Yeah,
Yeah, you signed up.
that would
Good.
be
Yeah, because that
interesting,
should be really interesting too. Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
Constance?
Yeah. Hi. I think I got into the tour guiding like the other way around. I used to run training sessions for pharmaceutical market researchers 4 times a year back in the Four Seasons, not the one on Delaware Avenue, but the old Four Seasons. And my folks, after studying all day,
The landscaping company, you mean?
yeah, not the landscaping company. But my folks, after studying all day and doing crunchy statistics stuff, always felt really sad because they came from all over the country and they wanted to see something of Philadelphia. So I got into arranging private tours for them. And we would hire a guide and we'd hire a bus and we'd take them around like Manful of Troubles Tavern and places like that. And sort of it always put in the back of my mind that, one day when I retire, I think I'd love to continue to do this. And my particular interest is in not just in the same old Center City, but in the rest of the city, and particularly in Northwest Philadelphia, which has more historic original sites than Center City does. Sorry to tell you that. Ours are reconstructed. They're the actual ones, like Wick and Stenton and Cliveden and so on. And then we have very creative ones like the Colored Girls Museum. And one place really dear to my heart, Allen's Lane Art Center, just became the 20th member of the Germantown Historical Society. And I used to be president of Allen's Lane. So near and dear to my heart. And so I just see a potential for tourists. I think that they aren't done the right way for some place. And it always makes me sad when I go in Center City and I see, go to Lancaster to meet the Quakers or whatever, and see historical sites. Are you kidding? 4 miles away from Center City in Germantown, there's like all these places. But as you say, they're scattered. So it's not walkable. It is not a walkable kind of thing. Plus, Germantown is very mixed. I mean, we have rich parts and seedy parts and challenging parts and uneven sidewalks, and we have all kinds of architecture. But that makes it interesting. So a tour has to be created differently for that kind of place. You have to pre-enroll everybody. You can't just, we're having a tour, sign up. No, that's not going to work. I think that's where the Historical Society went wrong the first time. But anyway,
Now,
I have.
Constance, have you filled out the Philly 250 form that we have in the
No,
newsletter?
I'll fill that out. I did
Yeah, so
create
fill that
a
out
tour.
about your interest, because they are definitely interested in doing tours beyond Old City and Center City. So they want to
Right.
do neighborhood tours in different neighborhoods. So if you're interested, fill it out and say what you're interested in, so that hopefully we'll be able to collaborate with them and get some movement on that.
And there's one tour that I made 2 years ago for my fellow alumni, who apparently didn't know that Penn started down at 4th and North Street. And that was the original campus. And then the second campus was at 9th and Market.
Right.
And so I created a tour for them. We took everybody in a bus, and then Penn published the tour, because there was all kinds of connections. The first psychiatrist and the first doctor, the first surgeon, whatever, they were all related to Ben and the university. So
Right.
That's a whole other tour, just, with a specific audience.
Right. Well, how about Andrea? You want to say something?
Sure. Hi, everybody.
Andrea, the black square.
I'm Andrea Edwards. I joined APT last year. I live here in Center City. I've been here about 8 years. I worked for a U.S. Senator for 16 years, and I did community economic development here in Pennsylvania, New Jersey for about 18 years. I started tour guiding on the buses last spring, and that wasn't really for me. So I started volunteering at City Hall. And then I had some personal things come up, so I had to stop doing that. But I'd love to get into tour guiding, and I love history, and I just love to meet people and tell stories.
Cool, thank you. But Ed, you want to say a few words?
Think you muted Ed.
Yeah.
Ed, look,
Hello,
there we go.
you can hear me clearly?
Mhm.
Name's Ed Meitinger, and I feel like I've taken and been on and been in all the different tour of Philadelphia and museums and historic locations. And I'm still picking a few off my list, but it inspired me to want to get involved in interpreting what Philadelphia is to groups of people who are unfamiliar with all of these different treasures. So the idea of taking people on a treasure hunt in Philadelphia was very appealing to me, and I thought, like, maybe I ought to check these folks out at the Association of Philadelphia Tour Guides and see how I can get involved. So I'm really a novice. I had last year at this time, I kind of thought I would be in on this Zoom presentation or participating with the tour guide. I know that the tour guides have been in association for quite a while, and going back to 2008, I can remember the controversy that was the result of ATV, but I never thought like that would be me. And here I am. I'm interested. I'm anxious to be engaged in telling all the different stories that Philadelphia has to tell. Everything from the last day of the organ at John Wanamaker's to William Penn and John Pistorius landing on the banks of Delaware.
Oh, very cool. How about Stephen?
Hey everyone, my name is Stephen Pierce. I actually started doing first-person interpretation and tour guiding in 2022 when I worked at Fort Mifflin. I actually created the first official Black History tour of Fort Mifflin. We didn't have one before, and I was like, I think this is crazy. So we got that one done. I'm hoping that new executive director there is actually going to implement that, which is great. After that, I've actually volunteered for a bunch of different organizations like the Paoli Battlefield Association, where I'm a tour guide there, the Grange Estate in Haverford. I live in Haverford Township in Delco. And currently I work at Harrington Farm and Park over in Bryn Mawr. So I've done this a little bit for a while, but I joined APT in December, I believe, and I just passed the certification exam, so I'm so excited. My interest is like what Ed said. I do anything that's kind of related to Philadelphia, but I'm really going to focus on the founding of the Army and the Navy. I just contacted Homecoming 250 to see if they were interested in my proposed tour idea. And I'm also potentially, hopefully, going to write a little article, or potentially turns into a book at the end of the year about naval history in Philadelphia during the 1700s. So I'm so excited. And I also like to promote my friends like Wendy, which I bought her book. So we went to school together, and this is a fantastic book. So buy that. So
That's
shameless plug.
incredibly sweet of you.
Yeah, well, we went to school together, and she's fantastic. I'm so proud of you, and it's so good to have friends in this organization. I've been a part of a ton of history organizations and event and places and things like that. And I think Wendy hit the nail on the head. It's like the warmest group of people I've ever been a part of. There's not crazy egos involved for the moment what I've dealt with, and it's just people who love history and want to tell it to the rest of not only the city but the rest of the world, which is a group I've been trying to look for my entire life. So yes.
You're gonna make me cry.
Well, it's true. Wonderful.
Let's see, how about Jenna? Do you want to talk? I think you're the last one there.
Jennifer?
Jennifer, are you there?
And I'll just add that we do have a 2-pager that we'll be sending around to you afterwards, that has all the links and everything on it. And I will just add a little bit more that, I did the flower show, and there I saw Wendy, and then I saw Tish, who's another member, and then I saw Karen, who's another member, who told me about the flower show. So, we got to do the flower show and just give early morning tours from 7:30 till 10. It was great. And then you got to come into the flower show and practice more. And finally the trees came out, which was great. And then, just so all around town, you'll see the guides where you won't necessarily expect to see them, but it's really wonderful.
Yeah. And we're starting a membership program. The focus is to get young people involved, like get some young alumni, college alumni, and things like that. But when we were meeting about it, a lot of people who were new members said, well, hey, I would like to be mentored as well. So if any of you are interested in sort of being paired up with a more experienced guide, to be honest, right now I have lots of mentees and not a whole lot of mentors, but I'm going to have to start reaching out directly to people and get the experienced guides to be mentors. Spring is hard because when the school kids come, most guides, that are working on the school tours are really busy, but we'll try and at least figure out what your interests are and what their interests are and see if we can start getting some people matched up. So if you're interested in that and you haven't already emailed me about it, drop me an email and just say, hey, I would love to have a mentor, I'd love to be paired up with somebody. And then also, if you are interested in doing tours, as I said about Philly 250, look at the bottom of the newsletter where we have that Google form for Philly 250 and just put your interest in. It's not a commitment, but if you're interested and you think you'd like to do it, put it in there and get your name in the hat, and then we'll see what gets what becomes of it. And also the directory to please fill out on the cheat sheet that Alex will send you. There's a link for individual members. So fill out that form, fill out your information so that we can get you in the directory. If you don't want to be solicited for work, you can just write, I don't want to be contacted about work opportunities, but at least other members could find you then, right? Your email would be there and your phone number if you want them on there.
You said that's on the page, Marianne?
Yeah, so Alex is going to send everyone this handout, and it will be
okay.
on the handout.
Okay.
Yeah,
great.
just so I don't have to put it in there now. And Mike has asked a brief history of Josh and Nick Svetkovic. So Josh Silver is a member. If I think, Ed, you were saying that you were a little familiar with the 2008, sort of controversy and the court case and everything with APT. And Josh was one of the members who went and testified in front of City Hall about APT and what we do and how the members are qualified and really care about their work and are super prepared and all of that. And he passed away. Gosh, I can't even remember now what month it was.
No,
May or June.
November.
Was it November? Was it that late in the year? Yeah, I guess it was. He passed away. He was only 61, I believe, 60 or 61. Very sad, but it was just had a huge impact on tour guiding in the city, on all of APT. Was just a wonderful, wonderful guide, very generous, would help any tour guide with anything, was on lots of committees. It was just it's just a huge loss for all of us. And then Nick Svetkovic also passed away this summer. He was older. He was about to turn 80. And he is a past president of APT. He actually, we just had the National Federation of Tour Guides conference was here in Philadelphia in January. And the last time it was here was, I believe, 2018, and Nick organized it. So he did a lot for APT. He was a great mentor to me personally. He did tours in German. He did tours in English, but he also did tours in German. He was a native German speaker. And I also speak Russian, so he would give me a lot of advice on, during foreign language tours and how to market myself, and just a really great, generous guy, sharing with colleagues and things like that. And they both passed away.
You speak Russian? Wow.
I speak Russian. I did.
That's amazing. That's great.
I'm a little rusty now, but yes.
That's impressive.
Technically, I still speak it.
Wow.
It's like riding a bike. Yeah, so anything else anybody wants to say?
There's some things in the chat.
Oh, Mike put a link to is that with the original article about it in 2008? Yeah. I found lots of articles when we had a scare earlier in the year because we thought that the city approached me about wanting to talk about certification. And I was afraid that they wanted to take it over, like the same thing we had in 2008. And I was panicking. And some of the members were so great who were involved in 2008 about getting me references and resources so that I could be up on what had happened then. But it turned out all they wanted to know was, were we cool to keep doing the certification? Because they still had it in their, what do they call it? Like not their policies, but their, they have a word for it anyway with the
Their
city.
legislation, they had to close the legislation.
It wasn't legislation, but it was another
word.
word, but it was that kind of thing where they had it on the books as something that the city did, and they wanted to take it off. Like, if we're not going to do certification, we should take it off the books. And I was like, yes, please take it off the books. It's good. We're good. And they said, well, we didn't know whether you'd be unhappy having lots of people come running to join you, so that they could get certified because we're not doing it. I was like, no, all the people that want to come join us, they're welcome to join us. That's all fine.
I have a question. So you mentioned, Marianne, that certification is optional to be a tour guide. Is there any kind of, how do you prevent people from offering themselves as tour guides who are spreading misinformation?
Well, it's the same as any industry, right? Anybody can say they do something, and then hopefully they would get bad reviews then people would read the review and not hire them again, right? But yeah, we don't have any kind of legal jurisdiction or any kind of anything.
So the city of Philadelphia doesn't require that that tour guides be licensed?
No.
Interesting. Thanks.
Yeah, they actually, the whole case when they had it in 2008 was based on freedom of speech, that you can't restrict someone's freedom of speech to tell the history that they want to tell.
Yeah, and as a tour guiding, I worked at 11th and Market, and practically every day when I came down for lunch, there'd be a group of 4 family members looking around, looking a little lost, and I'd say, "Can I help you?" And they'd want to know, which way does Independence Hall, which isn't always obvious on Market Street at 11th, and so would that be, and I would tell them something about it, throw in a little bit of tour guiding. And how could you make that illegal? That you're helping people and giving them information and explaining where they are. And, that's the slippery slope of saying you can't talk unless you're an official school. On the other hand, I understand that people are worried that, anybody would just say anything that wasn't true.
Yeah.
So,
I have to say, APT guides are good. I've done
they're
tours
excellent. They're
everywhere I go
excellent.
now. I go in all different cities and do tours, and I'm always just more and more impressed with the level of professionalism of Philadelphia guides compared to like other cities that I've done tours in. So anyway, well, it's just about 8:30. Anybody need last final comments? Anybody wants to
Thank
throw
you,
in?
Mary Ann.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you all
you.
for coming, for joining us and adding your talent to APT. We're super excited. This is, I think, Antoinette, I don't know if Antoinette's still there. Are you still there, Antoinette?
Yes, I am.
How many new members isn't this like the most new members we've had by this time of any year?
Yes,
these last couple
we
years?
have 183 members between individual and corporate, and last year we had a total of, I believe, 180. So we're already 3 above what we had at the end of last year. So so yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting to see the progression and the growth. And I don't know why you wouldn't want to join APT. There's a lot more that you're going to get out of it, you know, for the actual, what is really a nominal, you know, annual fee. You're going to get a lot more out of it, you know, just in terms of the tours you get to take and the connections you get to make, and just your own personal development. Even that, you know, you couldn't get this on a college class, you know, what you actually learn at APT throughout the year.
Yeah. And I encourage everyone to join the committee. It's a great way to meet more people too and get involved. And anything you don't know but you're interested in, we can teach you. You know, we're tour guides, right? It's what we do. We explain things. So we can definitely do that for you. And yeah, appreciate all of you coming. And we'll get the recording out to you. Alex will send out the handout. And thank you, Alex, for having this idea. It's a great idea. We didn't think of it sooner, but better late than never. And hopefully this will be an annual event that we will do for new members every year. So thank you all and take care. Have a great week.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.